Hi you guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Patience. To my existing subscribers, welcome back. If this is your first time here, be sure to click that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can continue to indulge in the Hot Bella experience. In today's video, I am going to be trying out two of the products that I purchased during the most recent Sephora holiday VIB sale. So yeah, I wanted to jump right into these products. I was so excited to finally get my hands on them. These products have been sitting in my cart for quite some time, so I finally brought them home. So I wanted to share my first impression with you guys. So I'm going to be trying out the Sephora Pro Face Palette. This is a hot item. I have seen this all over YouTube. I've been scoping it out and stalking it on the Sephora website. This palette is absolutely beautiful. So I used the majority of the products that I have on my face from this palette right here. So this is absolutely gorgeous. And I also used a lip product from Fenty Beauty. This is a part of their mini Glossy Posse Gloss Bomb collection. So this is super cute. I love the packaging of this. And inside you get several of the Fenty Gloss Bombs. Today I primarily focused on this one right here, and this is called Hot Chocolate. So yeah, if you'd like to see how I create this look, then keep watching. My face has been moisturized and primed, and I've also prepped my eyelids. And I'm going to go into the Sephora Pro Face Palette. This is in Deep. And I'm going to use the shade LA, which is this shade right here. And I'm going to use this as a brow bone highlight. I don't want to do too much of a brow bone highlight because I want to try to keep this look as neutral as possible. I don't have anywhere in particular to go. I just want to play in this palette. But yeah, I'm going to put a little bit of this on my brow bone. The next shade I'm going to use is this shade right here, and this shade is called Epic. It's the deepest or darkest of the shades in this Sephora Pro Face Palette, and I'm going to use this on my eyelids as a transition shade. I'm going to tap right into this with my fluffy brush and apply it to my lid. I want to mention that before I applied or began to apply this shade to my lids, I did have to go back in with the same brush that I used to prep my eyelids and tap out any creases that may have been on my lids from the eyeshadow priming product that I used, because I do not set my eyeshadow primer. I just leave it kind of tacky. So just wanted to mention that. That's pretty dark. All right, I'm gonna have to do some improvising here, but that's okay, because with makeup, that's what we have to do. If it's not turning out the way that we like it, we fix it, we make it work. And do the same thing to the other eye. I'm going to go back into this palette, and I'm going to try using this shade right here. This shade is called Jet Setter, and this is probably the shade that I should have put down originally as my transition shade. I had no idea that Epic was going to be quite so deep, but I'm going to go ahead and layer a little bit of this Jet Setter on top of it. And I'm going to use a Super Shock eyeshadow from ColourPop in this look as well. You can see that there it has the number 3 on it. It is a Super Shock shadow from ColourPop. It's a brown shade. This is what the actual shadow looks like. And I am not going to carve out my lids. I'm just going to use my silicone applicator. I'm going to go back into the Sephora Pro Face Palette. I'm going to try this Epic shade again. I'm going to try this again. And I'm going to put it just right here on the outer V of my eye, just to kind of soften up or blend in the edges where I have applied the Super Shock shadow from ColourPop, just to kind of soften that up so that it merges or marries together a little bit better. And now I'm going to take my smaller blending brush. This is the same Sigma brush that I always use to add a little bit more definition into my manipulated crease area. And I'm going to use a combination of these two colors, of the Epic and the Jet Setter. And I'm going to use this just to add a little bit more definition into this crease area. So I'm going to start off with just the Epic shade. That's the darker shade. And I'm just going to add this very lightly right in here where I have already began to deepen up my outer V with this crease color. So I'm just going to take this right across the top just a little bit, just to add a little bit more depth and to tie it all together just a little bit more. Not taking it all the way into the inner corner here, just stopping about halfway through. And now for the Jet Setter, just gonna bring this into the area closest to my eye here and blend it in with the Epic that I already have laid down in this crease area. This is looking really pretty. I'm going to add my liner and my lashes. I've added my liner and my lashes, and I've also added a little bit of my Tatcha Pearl under my eye and did a little bit of color correcting around my mouth area using my Kevyn Aucoin Sensual Skin Enhancer in SX14. And now I'm going to move on to my complexion as usual. And today I'm going to be using my Juvia's Place concealers. So a little while ago, Juvia's Place came out with some concealers and some foundation, and I've already done my first impression regarding these products, so I'll be sure to leave the information to that video in the iCard above. But today I'm going to be using these concealers. I'm going to use the shades 12 and 15 to do some concealing and highlighting, and I'm going to use the shade number 6 to do some contouring. I'm starting off with shade 12 first. It's the darkest between the 12 and 15. And now I'm using the shade 15 just to hit some of the other areas on my face that I normally want to conceal and highlight. That's going to be like the chin, the Cupid's bow, down the bridge of the nose, and this is looking really light. But I think we're going to be okay because I am going to be airbrushing my foundation today. So the airbrush will lay on top of all of this, so it will tone down any areas that may be a little bit too light at this point. So we're okay. And I'm going to follow up with my sponge just to blend everything in seamlessly. And I remember from the last time that I used this concealer from Juvia's Place as my contour shade, it only took just a little bit of it. And I'm trying to not use too much of this because a little bit does go a long way. And thankfully, if I do have a little bit too much, that I'll still be okay because I'm going to be putting my foundation on top. So this is a little bit different than what we're probably used to seeing, because most of the time we would put down our foundation and then do some contouring, cream contouring, bronzing, things like that on top of the foundation. But this time we're doing it in reverse, so we should be okay. I'm going to go ahead and set my under eye using some of the Hourglass Veil Translucent Powder. And now I'm going to start my complexion. So I'll be using my Tim2 Air. And now that my complexion is done, I am going to be trying for the first time the Cover FX Perfect Setting Powder. I picked this up in a mini size during the most recent Sephora holiday sale, and I wanted to try it out. So I'm going to use this to set my complexion because I'm going to be going back into the Sephora Pro Face Palette and using some of the other powders that are in that palette to finish off this overall complexion look. You can see it here. I'm hoping that it's not going to be too dark. Oh, it's pretty. I like it. I'm going to go back into the Sephora Pro Face Palette and I'm going to work with these two shades again. These are the two shades or primary shades that I have on my lid here. So I'm going to use these two shades to smoke out my waterline. And I am going to try this shade right here called Glitz for my inner corner highlight. This is the shade Jet Setter, and it's the lighter of the two chocolatey dark brown shades in the Sephora Pro palette. So I'm just going to blend these two together. It looks pretty. And I'm going to add some of this glitz just to make it kind of interesting. Ooh, that is pretty. I'm going to go into Jet Setter once again, and I'm going to use that to add a little bit more bronze or a little bit more warmth to my complexion. And now I'm going to use this shade right here. This shade is called Premier, and I'm going to use that as my blush. Apply it to the cheeks. And now I'm going to go into the shade LA, and I'm going to use this as my highlighter shade. And now I'm going to move on to lips, and I'm going to be using my MAC lip liner in Chestnut. This is a staple item for me, and I'm also going to be trying out one of the highlighters that came in my Fenty Beauty Glossy Posse lip gloss kit here, and I'm going to use this shade right here. This is called Hot Chocolate. So yeah, we're going to finish off the lips. And this look is done. I really like this Sephora Pro base palette. This palette can be used for my eyeshadow, bronzing, contour, blush, highlighter. This palette has it all. I've always been a fan of the ColourPop Super Shock eyeshadows. I love that cream to powder formula. They are simply gorgeous. And the setting powder from Cover FX will be going into my setting powder rotation. And the Glossy Posse from Fenty Beauty, if you don't have it, go get it. I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys on my next video. Bye-bye.